Man, what a week. New MMOs that neither you nor I knew about, shutdowns, alphas, betas, early access announcements. This week has it all, and I am more than happy to be bringing this to your attention. Before that, I am doing daily streams all week over on Twitch, revisiting Tower Fantasy 3.0, so come on over and join me there today at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, an hour from now, and every day this week, or every other weekend. I'm looking at a ton of new MMOs over there, and I'm going to be showcasing a lot of new games over the course of the next few months. I have a lot planned and even more to show. Now, let's go ahead and jump into this week's weekly bite of MMORPG news. The studio behind the upcoming Wayfinder MMO has been pretty vague about when they're releasing. The game has been delayed numerous times already, and while we have a presently confirmed early access launch date for sometime this summer, it looks as though as of July 20th, things will become much more concrete as the official Twitter confirmed several things will be happening. They will be announcing their new early access date. They will release information concerning Founders Packs, their new player housing feature, gameplay for the upcoming Venomous hero, a creator program for content creators that are interested in promoting the game. All of this information will become available during their July 20th livestream over on Twitch at 1 p.m. So if you've been waiting to see what they're working on, this is your chance to see firsthand. You probably don't remember Endless Online. I don't even remember Endless Online. It's an MMO that came out in 2003 and just kind of existed for like 13 years, I think, then shut down over half a decade ago and is re-releasing, living up to its name endlessly. But this time under the watchful gaze of its original developer. I know absolutely nothing about this game, so I cannot give any input on it, but if it's something that you find nostalgic, something that you miss or are interested in trying out, maybe you can give it a try. I don't know. There you go. The new official server is open and playable. Zenith, arguably the only real VR MMO, revealed recently that the game is continuing to reduce active running servers as their player base continues to decline. US East, US West, and EU servers are all going to be affected, with a single server for Asian players and a single server for Oceanic players. And while I do say server here, it's more pertaining to their sharding system, which functions like servers, but it doesn't tie your character to a singular server, instead allowing you to move freely between the shards. It's never good to see an MMO in decline, but it happens to the best of them. Before we go any further into the MMO news this week, I want to take a moment here to thank our incredible patrons over on Patreon. You guys allow for me to continue to do YouTube full time, and I cannot thank you all enough. You're all awesome. I feel like we probably don't talk about Tree of Savior enough. This is a really fun game. This is a very good looking game. Yet at the same time, it's so often overlooked because of how badly it was received when it launched. Nevertheless, in the face of adversity, the studio has pushed on, never stopping their cycle of updates and improvement, with the latest slew of updates releasing on July 19th. While there is new gear, there is a host of bug fixes, various different boosts and buff for players. The most noteworthy addition is the Engineer class. New classes are always fun and breathe new life into the game. Black Desert Online is proof of that. Fractured Online has been pretty back and forth over the last couple years. Good, bad, up, down, finished, unfinished. It has genuinely been a roller coaster for them. And I think they're finally back on track, as they've confirmed they'll be holding a 12-day long stress test beginning July 19th. The stress test will be to test out their new server war feature, a time-limited mode where players are thrown directly into the endgame with free progression and items. That way, they can test the endgame and finally launch the game. This test phase, however, will focus on PvP, including city warfare, which might not necessarily appeal to every player. Nevertheless, it is good to see the game finally coming into the final stretch of their development. The only downside to this is that to participate in the test phase, you need to purchase a Founders Pack, with the cheapest pack being roughly $30. And admittedly, from what I've seen, it is far from warranting that price yet. Palia is an MMO that we've been waiting years for, and it is finally within our grasp. Not only did they confirm recently that the game would be fully releasing onto the Switch before the end of 2023, but as of a mere few days ago, they revealed that they'll be entering into an invite-only stress test on July 25th, a full closed beta test phase beginning on August 2nd, which is great news for us as interested players that never got the invite, followed by an open beta test on August 10th, a week later, for interested players that couldn't get into the closed beta test. As of July 13th, there are 2/3 of a million players signed up and ready to participate in this test phase, and Palia could, for all intents and purposes, go down as or at least as one of the biggest releases of the year. I have a dedicated video covering this in much greater detail for those of you that are interested. Past Fate is another MMO that I've never heard of, but is apparently an MMO that is in active development after launching successfully onto Kickstarter a while back. Very little is known about the game at present, as the game is still very early in the development process. This, however, hasn't stopped them from entering in early access though, with the game first entering early access in April. I'm honestly not fond of supporting indie MMOs that immediately launch into early access test phases like this, as it's easy to just sink money into a game that just carries too large a risk of never releasing. But if this looks like something that you might be interested in, you know what, hey, go for it. Tower Fantasy is hot off the release of their brand new patch 3.0 with a PS4 and PS5 launch happening next month. Disregarding both updates, the game is releasing a brand new character on July 18th, Yulan. I've been streaming Tower Fantasy every day this week, as I noted earlier in the video, and will be continuing to all week, including the weekend, maybe next week. So if you're interested in seeing how 3.0 is, please come join me. I would genuinely love to have the company. I'd love to obtain Yulan, but depending on whether or not I manage to finish 3.0 before she releases, I guess I might not get the chance to. She looks like a very fun character though, and is voiced by none other than our favorite Hu Tao. The Quinfall is an interesting upcoming MMO that very little creators are covering due to their sheer lack of information available to us. It's an MMO, features a massive open world, has no class system, time travel, and a single very vague trailer. We weren't even really certain what the characters would look like until recently, when the Quinfall devs not only posted an image of their character creator on Twitter, but also confirmed that they would be holding a closed beta test before 2023 ends, which is great news for us because the end of 2023 is right around the corner. I'm going to do a deeper dive into what the game is in the coming weeks though, so make sure to keep an eye out. I know many of us are unable to play the Japanese version of Blue Protocol, and sure, it kinda sucks, but Bandai Namco have been very hard at work making extensive changes to the game while introducing a ton of content to keep players eagerly entertained. The first of which is the new class that I covered last month, the Blitz Lancer, building a big, sharp stick. And we all know how dangerous sticks are. The class will be available for players to unlock and level on August 16th. The first major patch accompanying the Blitz Lancer also introduces new dungeons, new raids, a whole ton of info and content is currently ready and available, and I plan on going over all of this in a dedicated video in the near future, probably next week, so keep an eye out and stay up to date. And that's it. That is all of the MMO news that mattered to me today. If you think that I missed something, please let me know in the comments below and I'll make sure to take a look. Until then, I got you covered with 2 videos that you definitely need to check out on screen right now.